Good morning, and I want to welcome you to our November 23rd Intermediate Planning webinar. Today we'll be going over seed treatment on a specific field. And so our agenda for today, we'll have our introduction, and then we'll select a field that could possibly benefit from seed treatment, whether that's applying fungicide and insecticide or fungicide and insecticide with a sudden death syndrome seed treatment. And then we'll select zones, work scenarios representing standard assumptions and associated costs, and then compare return on investment on zones and scenarios, and then we'll follow up with any questions. And I do want to introduce myself. I am Dan Bahe. I'm one of the Precision Business Planning Specialists here at AgSolver. And you can see my contact information in the chat box below. My email is djbahe@agsolver.com, or you can contact our support team at support@agsolver.com, and my cell phone number is 319-238-1978. And if you do have a question during our webinar, please type your question in the chat box below my contact information. Now we'll hop into Profit Zone Manager. And I'm going to navigate to my enterprise. And for this field, we'll be working out of the buildings field, creating 2017 soybean planting scenarios based off of seed treatment. So what I'm first going to do is select the buildings field, and the most current year yield data, soybean yield data that we have on this field is from 2015. And this is a 32-acre field. Average yield on this field in 2015 was about 60 bushel. And so what we're first going to do is actually copy a scenario based off of the actual production soybeans 2015. So I'm going to select the green copy scenario button right underneath the field name. Select actual production soybeans 2015 scenario. And I'm just going to name this 2017 soybean production. And then click Save. And all we're doing is really creating a carbon copy of that actual production soybeans 2015 scenario and renaming it 2017 soybean production. What I'm going to do next is come in and edit the budget to represent 2016 commodity prices along with our projected expenses. And what I've already done is created my 2017 corn production or soybean production crop budget template. So cash prices to our local elevator right now is $9.37 for fall delivery. So we're going to start with that price. We have another revenue category. We're going to leave that at 0. Equipment cost, this is at $80. And then we come to our seed cost. And we're pricing seed right now. And for non-treated soybeans, it came to about $55 per unit. And if we plant at a population of 130,000 seeds per acre, that's going to come to a seed cost of right around $51 an acre. So really this is going to be our starting point, our base scenario template. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save, because all we're doing is readjusting our soybean input price for this particular field. And what I'm going to do to make this simpler, I'm going to rename the scenario 2017 production no seed treatment. Go and click Save. But now I want to project yield by not applying a seed treatment of fungicide or insecticide or a seed treatment to combat sudden death. I'm going to actually adjust my overall field average yield down to 50 bushel from 59. So what I'm going to do is come in, add a zone, and our drawing tools populate. At the left-hand side, our whole field zone button is at the very bottom. If we click on that, that pulls up our budget, and I'm just going to name this 50 bushel yield goal. And then we have our target zone yield slider. I'm going to adjust that until I reach 50 bushel field average, or reduce yield 14%. And our crop budget is the same. We still have our seed cost at $51 for non-treated seed. Go ahead and click Save. And in our gut, we felt like 50 bushels was a fair yield, or fair yield projection. We didn't want to go above that. We could have went below that. We could have set our yield goal at 45. But for us, we just use gut instinct to determine that based off of production history on this field. So right now it's saving data to the field. I'm actually going to click the refresh button. Click on 2017 soybean production, no seed treatment. And you can see if we produce only 50 bushel soybeans based off the commodity price that we do have in place, you can see we're going to lose about $70, almost $71 an acre, or on this field lose about $2,200. So now I want to create a scenario where we apply a fungicide and insecticide seed treatment at $13 a unit. So what I'm going to do is select Copy Scenario, and then base this off of 2017 soybean production, no seed treatment. This time we'll say 2017 soybean production, fungi and insect seed treatment. And this is typical seed treatment that we usually apply. Covers our basics. We'll go ahead and click Save. And what I'm going to do is come up to our budget up at the top and edit budget, and then scroll down to our seed cost. So right now it's at $51. If we have that cost, it'd be a cost per unit of right around $68 per unit. But if we divide that by 140 and then times that by 130 based off of our planting populations, our seed cost comes to roughly about $63 an acre. If we plant at a population of 130,000, I'm going to click Save. But also, if we apply that, we're also going to increase that seed treatment. We're also going to increase our yield goal to 60 bushel. So if we click on Edit Budget, so we'll put that at increase of 2%, yield goal 60 bushel, scroll down and adjust seed costs to $63 an acre, and then click Save. So then we can view the financial performance. If we apply that seed treatment and if we hit our yield goal of 60 bushel soybeans, we're actually going to make about $5.85 an acre, or more or less break even on this field. And the last scenario that I'm going to create is a scenario based off of fungicide, insecticide, and sudden death seed treatment, or a levo, for an example. So we'll base this off of 2017 soybean production and rename it. Click Save. In this field, we really don't have a sudden death problem all that much. Granted, it'll be really come down to which variety of soybeans we plant and in weather conditions. But for this, we're going to adjust our seed cost. Seed treatment for sudden death, it comes about $16 per unit, or if we factor on a per acre basis, that will increase our seed cost to $78 an acre. And I will click Save. And we did increase our yield goal by about 3 bushel. So if we have a yield goal of 63 bushel, we felt like that was adequate. So we'll increase our overall field yield to, we'll go 8%. And then scroll down, adjust our seed costs to $78. Actually, we'll increase this to 65 bushel. So now you can see if we apply all 3 seed treatments and if we can produce 65 bushel soybeans, we're actually going to withstand making about $40 an acre, have a total field profit of $1,300 on this particular field. And what I'm going to do next is compare varying scenarios. So we'll come and click on Compare Scenarios. Right next to the field name, we have an options drop-down menu, and the very first selection is Compare Scenarios. On the left-hand side, we'll have our 2017 soybean production, no seed treatment, with a yield goal of 50 bushel soybeans, so we're going to be losing about $70, almost $71 an acre. We have our total field profit of negative $2,200, where if we apply that seed treatment with a yield goal of 60 bushels, we have a profit of just shy of $6 an acre, 1% return on investment, with a total field profit of $186 on this field. Or if we switch over to our soybean production with SDS seed treatment, fungicide and insecticide seed treatment as well, and we want to compare that to, say, our fungicide and insecticide seed treatment without SDS. You can see the difference. And even though we have added costs, we also increased our overall field average yield on this particular field, and there's about a 6% return on investment difference, about $34 profit per acre difference, and then you can see our total field profit difference at the bottom. We were able to increase our production efficiency by about six bushel per $1,000 spent, decreased our acreage opportunity ratio and our working capital opportunity. We were able to take our break-even commodity price from $9.32 soybeans to $8.82. And then we have our total field expenses and total field revenue. We can also print this page directly. So up at the top we have a green print button. We can print this off. The nice one-sheet handout with our acres to profitability per acre histogram at the bottom. So now I'd like to open the floor up for any questions anyone might have regarding this scenario. I do want to mention that what was helpful in this scenario was already pre-populating and pre-creating all of our 2017 soybean production crop budget templates. So we just had to change our seed costs and our overall field average yield goals on these specific scenarios. And once this webinar has been completed, it will be available on our AgSolver YouTube page. So you can go back and rewatch this webinar. And if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email or email our support team or give me a call. We'll be more than happy to sit down with you on a webinar or in person and go through the specific scenarios that you want to see on your own farm, your own fields, under your own management conditions. So I want to thank you for viewing our November 23rd intermediate planning webinar reviewing soybean seed treatment. Have a good Thanksgiving. Thanks.